Hello, Jen. There we go. At last. All right. Talk about bad lighting. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Soapbox. Few people coming in. I appreciate you. We'll give it a couple of minutes. Background wondering if I'd get a good rating. Can you guys hear me? I see Jen is clapping. Am I going to take that as a yes? I'm unmuted. Allison just gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, Allison. Now I know that you guys can hear me. Welcome to another episode of Soapbox. This is Alonzo Bowden. You are welcome here. As you know, you can rant, rave, bitch, moan, complain. You can do anything you want. It's your soapbox. Hey, you can even compliment people, even though we all know that that is seldom required. But you know what? I'm going to start today's show off with some positivity. Now, I know I got a few regular listeners there, and they probably just tuned out thinking that it couldn't be me if it's positivity. But no, there is some good news. I've been getting these alerts on my news feed that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson has become a Supreme Court justice. So, in spite of the best efforts of idiots in the Republican Party, we got it right. The United States of America got it right. And she is our newest Supreme Court justice. And to say it's well deserved is the understatement of the year. I mean, the woman is more qualified than half of the Supreme Court, but we know that that wouldn't make a difference in all the Republicans voting against her. So, in spite of their best efforts, their hopes, and their dreams, she is a Supreme Court justice. And I will start the show off by saying, well done to Biden, to the Senate, and to everyone involved in her becoming a Supreme Court justice. Now, wouldn't it be great if they could add 5 more like her? Well, I can dream, can't I? So I'm going to start off. My first rant is against American Airlines. And airlines in general treat us poorly. The service is bad. The airplanes are packed. We're at their mercy. But I don't think any airline embodies this more so than American. They just truly don't care. I had a flight from Providence, Rhode Island, through Charlotte to LA. As you know, routing sometimes is ridiculous. But again, we're at the airline's mercy when it comes to that. So I'm 5:20 in the morning. I'm flying out of Providence. I get to Charlotte 7:30. My flight's at 9. All it says is flight canceled. No explanation, nothing. Your flight's been canceled. Now, I'm a platinum flyer, and that means I fly 75,000 miles a year on a particular airline. I'm actually platinum on 3 airlines. I fly over 100,000 miles a year on United. I'd usually fly in the pre-pandemic, normal business, another 100,000 miles a year on Delta. I don't fly American as much, but they were like, hey, we want your business, so we're going to make you platinum, blah, blah, blah. Now, I say that not to say that I'm special or anything like that, but to say that the theory is when you're a good customer, you get treated well. And that's why they have these different tiers of frequent flyer. And I always joke that, listen, they treat me like shit and I'm platinum. So I don't know what they're doing to Group 7. Well, guess what? Americans showed me what they're doing to Group 7, because what they did when they canceled my flight, they put me on a flight that night, which wasn't going to work. I wanted to get on the next flight. They said, okay, we'll put you on standby for the next flight. We will downgrade you from business to coach. And mind you, I pay to fly business because I'm a business traveler. I'm not, again, not no ego, no bragging, nothing. This is what I do. It's part of the expense of me doing my business. Okay. They downgraded me to coach. And American's the only airline that has ever downgraded me, and they've done it a couple of times. Some people are like, I never heard of a downgrade. I only heard of an upgrade. Well, welcome to American. And of course, they put me in a middle seat. So now it's the most miserable flight experience you can imagine. And I'm tweeting about this the whole time. Here's a tip. If you want response from an airline or any business, go on Twitter. Don't contact them directly. Go public because they will answer right away trying to stop the bad publicity. I'm rage tweeting the whole time. They even sent someone to the gate to apologize. And it's like, I don't want your apology. I want service. So they said, okay, we're going to refund you the difference between what you paid for business and what it costs to fly coach, which would be good. Except this is what they did. They refunded me based on a discount business ticket because I bought my ticket like 30 days ago or whatever versus a full price coach ticket. In other words, the smallest refund they could give. And when I complained about it, they actually said, well, we checked our numbers and this is a fair amount. Like, really? You think it's fair because you're doing it? They did ultimately give me some miles, gave me 15,000 miles in my frequent flyer account as an apology. But the point being that it's shit. And no, I tweeted, no other business treats you like this. And then someone pointed out, really? Have you talked to cable TV? And that is true. Cable TV providers, internet service providers, same thing. They divided up the country into zones. When you live in a certain place, you can only get your service from a certain company. And we've all been on hold with cable TV. And they don't care. They learned customer service from the airlines and said, this is a good business model. So there's that. Okay. Now, here's another thing I want to ask. And I really do. Why, as a society, why do we cater to the dumbest members of our society, to the lowest common denominators of our society? I went to buy detergent. Okay. I happen to use Tide. Welcome, Mira. Nice to see you here. I happen to use Tide. Have you bought Tide lately? It's like buying alcohol. It's like buying, I don't know, I'd say a gun, but in most of the country, it's easier to buy a gun. You have to go to the aisle, then you have to get the little paper slip, then you have to take the paper slip to somebody, and they have to go into the locked cage where they keep the Tide and give you your detergent. Why? Because some idiot kids like to eat Tide Pods, because some parents weren't able to teach their children not to eat detergent. So we all have to deal with this because kids, your dumbass kids, like to eat detergent. Why? Why do we cater to kids who like to eat detergent? It seems as a society, we should have parents who teach their children not to eat detergent. That worked for a long time. That worked forever. That worked forever. I've never seen a commercial say, new and improved Tide. It's delicious. No, no. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, you know what we didn't do? We didn't eat detergent. Because our parents had stuff they kept under the sink or above the washing machine or something. And they were like, don't eat that. It is poison. It will kill you. And we're like, okay, all right, listen, I may not come home on time, but I'm going to listen to you on the not eat detergent thing. Okay? Because that seems to make sense. I, I don't know. I don't know. And finally, my last one, because this just happened. Hello, Dunkin' Donuts. Wish I could get some kind of, I don't know, product placement thing for that. I just went to a Dunkin' Donuts and the coffee was $3.35. And the guy behind the counter, I'm in Chicago, he's wearing his mask under his chin. We've all seen that. The funniest thing about it is masks are not required. So rather than not wear a mask, he's going to wear a mask wrong. I don't understand that at all. It's $3.34 for the coffee. I give him $5.35. He gives me back 65 cents. And the manager came over, who wasn't wearing a mask because they're not required. and asked what happened. And I told her, and she gave me my $2. And she just sort of had this look on her face like, yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, people? I don't know. But that's my rants for the week. This is the Soapbox. As always, it is your soapbox. Please jump in, speak up. I'm flying solo now. My producer is traveling. She's got her own business thing going on. So you are welcome to come up. As always, video or no video, you can chat. We can do whatever you need to do. This is your soapbox. Oh, come on. I'm the only one dissatisfied this week. I find that rather hard to believe. Well, congratulations to everyone having a perfect week. Here we go. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey,
You're
how's it going?
headed to video if you'd like.
All right. Can you see me?
I do. There you go.
How's it going? I'm at the beach right now.
Nice.
I just got done with jury duty. I'm not taking an easy day, It's just they got rid of a witness, so a little bit of a break.
Well, kudos to you for your civil service.
It's not that bad, honestly. It's not. I mean, it's different than doing my job, but it's definitely a welcome respite, especially with this view afterwards. So I'm not I'm not here to complain about that. Obviously, I do have a new recurring problem though, and that's I keep seeing advertisements for like TV shows or movies or something that I want to watch on my TV, and now I got to jump through all these different apps and services to find it. It's everything. Every single show seems to be on a different app, and I don't. It used to be just cable, obviously. I don't know if this is a recurring problem for a lot of people, but it used to be cable, and then there was too many options, and now there's all the options seem to focus on different individual apps, and I feel like I'm downloading something new just for every show that I want to watch. And I mean, yesterday it was the Ben Franklin documentary on PBS, which I downloaded the PBS app for, and that wasn't too bad because it didn't make me log in or anything. But that's not the norm. You're downloading a new service and then remembering your iCloud password, and it seems like too much. And I guess the whole point was for a long time it was like cable was charging too much. Here's just a service so you can get just what you want, the individual program. But now I feel like I'm paying maybe twice what I was paying for cable just so I can subscribe to all these different services. And I don't know who's I don't know who's in charge of deciding these numbers or these factors, but it's I don't know when it's going to end. And I guess I just wanted to put it out there that it's frustrating to me to have to go through this every time I want to watch a different particular thing.
Jeremy, you are so not alone on this. It's comical. The whole setup is comical. Yeah, you have to have different streaming services, right? Because like for me, like right now, I'm watching a show called Top Boy, which is on Netflix, right? And then I'm watching Snowfall, which is on FX, but repeated on Hulu. And then there's Moon Knight, which is on Disney, right? And then you're right, you have to download their apps if you want to watch like regular TV. And so some people say, okay, well, give up your cable and just buy the internet and stream on the internet. Of course, you still have to pay the same company for the internet that you used to pay for cable. And then like Hulu, for instance, says they have regular TV on Hulu. Yeah, for another $60 a month, which is the same as paying for your cable. Now, here's another thing, Jeremy. I don't know if you're a sports fan. Okay, I'm a sports fan. If you want sports, you have to have cable. You have to buy cable to get the sports, because even if you have the app, like for instance, Bally Sports is the local sports thing for the Clippers, a basketball team I like. Well, to get the app, you have to be subscribed through the network. Now, let's go to the next step, Jeremy, and let's talk about passwords, all right?
Um,
Because what do the security companies say? Don't use the same password Can you imagine trying to remember a different password for every app and service you have to log on to? Like you said, just to watch TV. We're not talking about your DoorDash or your Starbucks app or your whatever else, app. And you know who else does this that pisses me off?
Ew.
News services, right?
Oh yeah.
They tease you the article and then just say go to LA Times, but you can't read it unless you subscribe. And then it's the same thing with the
Oh
Washington
yeah.
Post or this or that. So they give you the first 3 lines of the article, then the thing pops up. To read this article, you must subscribe. So now we go from having newspapers delivered to I'm supposed to subscribe to 12 different newspapers. You're right, Jeremy. And here's the most comical part, Jeremy, and you know this as well as I do. Who's in charge? The same companies that have been in charge all along.
Yeah.
Disney owns ABC and ESPN. Hulu is NBC, and we're paying the same companies, the same news companies own the newspapers, own the sites that you have to log on to. It's the same companies, and Amazon, well, they own everything. The best you could do, I don't know if you're aware of this, you can go through Amazon and buy shows individually. But like you said, now the price run now just to watch an episode, I got to pay $2.99.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeremy, listen, you're at the beach, turn around and look at those pretty girls in bikinis behind you. That is the only thing you're allowed to watch for free. Just don't be creepy. All right, don't be creepy.
Okay. I might keep my eyes on the ocean. I happen to be married to a wonderful woman, so
Boom.
I'm gonna keep my eyes forward. But I appreciate your advice, and I appreciate the opportunity to vent about this. That I'm not the only one going through it.
Enjoy it, man. I'm in Chicago. It just stopped raining and it's only 40 degrees. So enjoy the beach day.
All right. Nice talking to you.
You too, man. Thanks for dropping in. All right. Who else wants to climb up on the soapbox? We got a few minutes. We're just getting warmed up. Anyone else having a beef, a pet peeve, an annoyance? It's your soapbox, people. I could complain about any and everything for days. So please jump in here. I love it. It seems everyone is having a great week. I love it. It seems everyone is having a great week. I see a lot of applause and a lot of smiling. Well, let me go back to the list. Oh, hey, Amira. I was going to just find something else to complain about. I will invite you to video. It is up to you whether or not you use it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The sun's coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 90s here in LA.
I know the temperature in Chicago is actually half of the temperature in LA.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll stick to the sunny weather and heat. So I have serious beef. I didn't want to get on here because one, I woke up late. I overslept. I'm late for work. But yeah, my beef is with Apple. So I have a MacBook Pro. A lot of us are Apple users, and we love Apple for life. And the 2017 model has the Touch Bar. I don't know if anyone has one. And let's see. Am I supposed to hit accept? Your video will be visited. Okay, let me get out of here. Okay, so my screen went black in January. And I don't know why, like just suddenly. And I have an external monitor hooked up. And I'm like troubleshooting. So I hook back in my external monitor and I'm looking up everything. And I get in this Reddit thread. And everyone's like, oh, that's called the black screen of death. And Apple isn't owning up to this happening to MacBooks. I don't know if anyone else has had this issue. And they're like, you're going to have to pay $659 to get it fixed. And I'm like, holy crap. Okay, well, shoot. Do I just buy a new laptop at this point, or do I get it fixed and get a few more years out of this laptop? So I'm on the phone with the Genius Bar guy. We troubleshoot everything. I troubleshoot what I could. Nothing. So I call, or they said, we're going to, all of our Apple stores are closed because this was COVID. We're going to send you to a third party authorized Apple dealer or Apple, whatever they are.
Yeah,
And
resellers or whatever they're called.
yeah. So I go in and the guy's like, yeah, it'll be a 3 to 4 day turnaround. Okay, great. I run 2 businesses. So my life is in this freaking laptop. And I'm like, 3 to 4 days, fine. I could deal. It turns out to be a month. And they were so backed up that they sent my computer along with other people's to another contractor to fix. So then it goes outside of Apple because this third party company that this Unitech, this is what the company was called, Unitech used, started sourcing out their work. So I get my computer back after a month, and I'm like just livid because they kept buying time, and oh, it's going to be another week, it's going to be this, we're backed up, and I'm like, it's not my problem. You guys told me 4 days. If you told me 4 days and it ended up being a week, fine, we're still friends, we're cool. But a month? So then I get it back, and the power button for the Touch ID doesn't work because it's attached to the entire keyboard. And then I get the bill, and they're like, it's going to be a little over $1,000. We had to replace your battery. Your battery was like inflamed or whatever they called it. I don't know. And I'm like, crap. Okay, so I pay the $1,000 to get it fixed. Well, recently, I go to the Mac store, and I'm like, listen, my Touch ID still isn't working. And the guy's looking at me, and he was like, okay, so I see that you got it serviced at Unitech, and how much did you pay? All right. He's looking on his iPad. He's like, they charged you this much for these parts? He's like, we don't charge that. And I'm like, what? So I'm sitting in the Mac store. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys, it's Ramadan. I'm fasting. I'm supposed to like reel in my patience, and I'm ready to punch the wall and like throw all their devices everywhere. I'm just ready to go crazy in there because I was overcharged intentionally. So Mac calls Unitech, and the guys are like, well, we had to buy the parts from Apple, and so we then relay the charge to the customer. And Apple's like, well, I don't understand. Our prices are like $200 less. So why would we charge you that much? And then you charge her. So basically, these guys are a bunch of snakes in the grass, and they got over.
They're marking up the price on the parts.
Right. And they shouldn't. And I was sent to Unitech from Apple. So now I'm filing a corporate complaint with a guy from Apple named Tyler I have to speak to on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. To basically tell Apple they need to fix it, refund my money, and make it right. I'm over this. This is like such, excuse my language, fuckery. And I don't like it when people try to get over on people. And when you mess with my money, I'm coming after you. I'm a Taurus. I'm the bull. And I want revenge. And I'm out for blood. So yes, I said that publicly. I don't even care. That's my rant for the week.
Thank you, Amira. I feel you 1,000%. I'm going to tag that story. Fabish, you will be up in a moment. Let me just tag Amira's, and then I'll bring you on. Amira, it's so funny what you said, the black screen of death. Should I buy a new one? Unfortunately, yes. That is the only solution with these tech things. I have a friend who had the exact same thing happen. She had a MacBook Pro. She runs a home-based business on her computer. The computer just stopped responding, like just nothing, right? And I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years old or something like that. And it was like, just buy a new one. Just, you can try to get it fixed. They're going to charge by the time you pay to get it fixed. You could buy, like, I think she bought the new MacBook Pro, which was like, I don't know, $1,400-$1,500. You know what I mean? And I had that happen during COVID. I was going to set up kind of a Zoom studio, right? And I had an iMac, and it was from 2015. Okay. And my brother's he's a full on techie. So I told him that, I had to download this software, and he was like, "What year's your computer?" And that's 2015. And he looked at me like I told him I had a 1969 Nova and I want Bluetooth. He just looked at me like, it's like, "Oh, I got to buy a new computer." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." I think the shelf life on them is 4 or 5 years. And then it's like, no, they don't support the tech anymore. As a matter of fact, I was just reading a thing that MacBook has a new MacBook Air, and I have a MacBook Air from back then, and they said they're going to just stop supporting the MacBook, the last version of the MacBook Air. In other words, we're not going to fix it. We're not going to do anything. Like, if you have one, it's obsolete. I still have.
They do the same thing with phones, Alonzo.
Yeah.
You guys notice your phones start acting up, and you're like, "Oh, what's wrong with my phone? Why is it calling people randomly? Why is it turning off?" It's intentionally made to start malfunctioning, so you turn it in and get a new phone, and then they recycle those parts or whatever. But that's why we're out of pocket so many times.
Well, I know some people who have like an iPhone 6, and I look like, what the hell? Like, who are you calling? What are you?
It's like the brick phones of the 80s.
Yeah. It's like the phone with the suitcase attached, right? Listen, I'm sorry for your experience, but yeah, you just have to buy a new one. That's the only solution.
Well, not until I raise hell with Apple and they refund my money.
Definitely. No, I'm not saying let it go. I'm just saying that, this is what you learn. It's not just Apple, but the problem is, once you get in Apple, and I'm in the same wormhole, I'm sitting here with my iPhone and my iPad. I have a Mac Mini computer. I have a MacBook. It's all connected, right? So you just end up buying all of them. People have the same problems with Android and PCs. They're just a whole lot cheaper. A new PC costs $400 or $500. A new MacBook costs $1,400-$1,500. That's the difference. But
that's the baseline. Forget it if you want extra storage. You're looking, at 2,000 and up. The other thing is the new 22 MacBooks. Shockingly, don't have the Touch ID.
Of course not.
Power button. I'm like, okay, you guys need to figure this the fuck out.
I hate to say it, Amira, but they have figured it the fuck out.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. To my demise.
Good luck with the call Saturday. I hope you get some, if not all, of your money back, and go from there.
Thanks for listening to my bitch session. I appreciate it. Hope everyone else
here every Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, Fabish, you are in. I've invited you to video. It's up to you whether or not you use it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just do the audio. So my rant is quite huge, and it's with the Immigration Department of America. When COVID started, I was supposed to join university in Alabama, but because everything was backed out, I had to go back to my country, Kenya, and wait out because the systems are not working.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Let me. If you can get closer to your microphone, because your voice is soft.
Can you hear me now better?
Much better. Much better.
All right. Yeah. So I was saying, back in 2020, I was supposed to start school in the States. And so I applied for my student visa, and that came, through But because of COVID, there were some documents that couldn't work, like I couldn't get. So I had to go back to my country and work it out from there, right? So anyway, so COVID kind of clears down the whole issue, like things open back up. And now it's 2 years down the line. And since I came back, every time I go to the embassy, to like check on my status and like on the update and stuff like that, they just keep telling me like there's always something new, and so now like they're so backed out. And recently, like the school that I go to, I've been doing online school for 2 years now. I'm actually supposed to be like in college, and so it's so frustrating because everything that I need to do is actually in the States. And now I kind of ran out of the classes that I can do online. So I really, really need to get to the States to start doing school. But the problem is, I don't know, like my thing is not even against the rules or anything. It's against the people that work at these places. I wonder who picks them, because it seems like they just go through the group and they pick the worst of the bunch, Um, and they just send them to these embassies. And I mean, the treatment some people get from these places, like, so yesterday I went to check on my status, and the lady there, I think she might have had a really bad day, and I paid almost like $800 just to book an interview, an appointment. And I get there and she asks me like, hey, so how long do you have till you go back to school? And I'm like, just like a month. And she goes, well, you'll just have to wait because we're all backed out right now. And I'm like, well, I just paid $800 to come to this interview. Like, what do you mean you're backed out? Can you give me some info? Because I really need to leave. And so she got mad and she was like, let me have your passport, And you can't really do anything because at that moment she has all the power, but you don't. And so it was kind of like a rush. I expected to have like an interview because my entire life, pretty much, to school, lies in this meeting. And she took less than 3 minutes and she was like, let me have the next person. I'm like, I have not even had anything, from you of substance that I can go back with and say, I'm going to work with this, And so like, it's almost like, I don't know. I just really wonder whoever picks these people that work at these embassies and immigration departments, like, I wonder who these people are, because the guys that work in these places, they just are not human at all, and the treatment they give people, it's almost like, like most people, when they leave their countries to come to the States or to go to Europe, whatever, they always have like an idea in mind, and the ones that live legally, if you have really worked hard and you actually deserve to get like an opportunity, but it all hangs in the, hands of somebody who's just going to take 3 minutes, then I think that's so unfair. But there's no way you can complain, So now I've had 2 years doing online school. I still have 2 more years left. And I have time is running out, but I can't get another interview for like a few more months. And it's the same lady all the time, and she never really seems to care, So that's kind of my rant. It's pretty frustrating to deal with people like that.
Let me start off by saying I feel for you. Um, I apologize on behalf of the United States of America. It's not often I take on the responsibility of my entire country, but in this one I will, because I feel you. We deal with this here. It's called bureaucracy. It's called government workers. One of the problems we have with government workers, not all of them, but certain ones, once you get a job with the government, it's almost impossible to get fired. So doing
Yeah.
a bad job is not penalized. This is why, and I'm not going to get into the whole union, anti-union thing, but this is one of the things they complain about. And the unfortunate thing about immigration is our immigration system is broken. It's slow. It's a big fight. The whole anti-immigrant thing, this is what angers me about the anti-immigration people. Everyone in the United States is an immigrant from somewhere. And these anti-immigration people, their grandparents or their great grandparents came over to the country when we weren't digitized. There were no computers, whatever. They went through Ellis Island. They had a name no one could pronounce. They changed your name to Smith and they let you in the country. Now these same people are like, don't let them in, fight, blah, blah, blah. And it bothers me till no end. My dad was an immigrant. My dad was an immigrant from Honduras. He came in and he fought in World War II. He got his citizenship right before then. It was much easier to do back then because the system wasn't this big and, it was just, I don't know, simpler. I wish I had a solution for you. This is what you're dealing with because I've dealt with this. It's something as simple as the Department of Motor Vehicles and licensing a car. When dealing with government employees, it's a roll of the dice. If you get to the window, to the counter, to the question, the interview, and it's the right person, they can make it happen. They'll put in the effort. They'll listen to you. They'll say, "Oh, this is the problem. We'll straighten it out." Or you get someone like you did, who unfortunately looks at it and says, "Oh, I have to work. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Next." And that's what they're saying. I feel for you. I wish you luck in continuing your education, and I hope you get in. And this is also why a lot of people, when they get in the country, they don't leave because they're like, I can't deal. They say do it legally, and then they make it next to impossible to do legally. So I am sorry, and I wish you luck, and just know that like everything else on here, you're not the only one. You're speaking a frustration that so many people have. I hope we can do it better.
No problem, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe very soon I'll be back to the States,
I hope so. I hope so. You would be a welcome addition to our country. As a matter of fact, I can think right off the top of my head, 10 people in this country we would trade to have you here. I wish it was like sport. I wish it was like sport. And we could just do a trade.
That would be awesome.
Be like, okay, we got 10 idiots. We're going to send them in their trucks and we'll trade them for Fabish. We'd like Fabish here. All the best.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for the chance. And yeah, have a great day, man.
You too. Oh, what a system. What a system. And that is a voice that's not heard. Someone trying to do it right and do it legally and is nothing but frustrated by American bureaucracy and a random government worker. And again, not to say all government workers are bad, but we've all run into that person, whether it be at the DMV or the post office or Social Security, whatever it is, where you've got the person who doesn't want to work today. They don't want to do anything. And whatever your problem is, good luck and may God bless. It's too bad. Let's see. I like this joke that's just scrolling across. I don't know if you guys are getting the same joke. Working in a mirror factory is something I just can't see myself doing. I just want you to know that's not my joke. But I like it. Speaking of my jokes, I had a joke go viral. This has never happened before. I am now a TikToker. And I did this comedy. We recorded a show with Helium Comedy Clubs. And rather than try to release it as a special, they've been releasing it in clips, 3 to 5 minute clips. And I have a clip out there. It's on all the platforms. And it's called Stupid Don't Get Tired. And it's going huge on TikTok and Instagram and everything else. So look for me out there. And yeah, I'm Alonzo Bowden 13 on TikTok because for some reason my name is taken. And I was never there. I always thought TikTok was just for twerking videos, but no. So let's make this show. Let's make this viral. And we are simulcasting the other programs. I want some anger. Let people know they can come to the SoapBox and complain, okay? But when you want to laugh, you can catch me just alonzobowden.com. Little shameless self-promotion right there. And you don't have to subscribe, by the way. You do not have to subscribe to watch me through my website. So, I remember we had that already on this show. No, I'm not asking for a new subscription. If you want to follow, great. If not, that's cool too. You can do it. You can do a drive-by, zoom-by laugh. I'm all right with that. Well, listen, we're getting close to that time. We're going to wrap up the soapbox for this week. We will be back next week. Last call for complaints on the soapbox. It looks like there Allison just popped up. How you doing, Allison?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Let me answer Jen really quick. Jen, my next show, I'll be back next week. We're back on schedule. So go ahead, Allison.
All right. So, my rant for today is how come, I will accept. So, how come female sterilization is covered by insurance, but male sterilization is not? I feel like there's something way wrong with this because for ladies, it is so invasive. And for men, the procedure is really simple. Um, it's general anesthesia, but for females, you're going under, the recovery is incredibly hard. And, you know, just everything prevention wise. I mean, condoms are not covered, but for women, birth control, we can get that. But it seems like everything with women it's just a little bit harder when it comes to that stuff. So I'm a little salty about that this week. And that's my
So,
rant.
Allison,
Yeah.
Allison, you're asking why are things more difficult for women in the United States of America? Really?
Man, no. Yeah, no kidding, right? You
Really, Allison?
know what? Yeah,
Well, you're the
exactly.
first.
I just need
You're
to
the first
say
woman to.
it.
You're the first woman to have brought this up. We had no idea there was a problem.
Oh, I just
Allison,
feel the
I hate.
surgical aspect is so like it hurts me right now because it's just, oh wow, there's so much danger with it when it comes to the whole aspect of getting like your tubes taken out, especially if it's not done like with a cesarean. Like if you decide you don't want to have kids again and you're going in for a sterilization procedure, like that's a whole situation where it really is more simple for men to do and less expensive out of pocket. But if we look at the ACA or just insurance in general, it's covered usually at 100% for females. So yeah.
Well, Allison, and I don't mean to joke about it. I get your rant, but okay, why? Well, maybe because there are 80-year-old congressmen who think they're going to have babies with 20-year-old women, right? So they got to keep their
Yeah.
parts working. Seriously, I mean that's part of it. This thing, women's reproductive rights, and I am unfortunately in the minority in this country on this, should be handled by women. I'm just throwing it out there that maybe women know more about their bodies than old men who make these decisions.
Yep.
Don't worry about listen. Don't worry about contraception being covered and things like that because with this Supreme Court, they'll get to it and they will put an end to it. We are moving backwards. It is one of the big problems. The fact that it is covered by insurance for women, I guess, is a good thing if you choose to do it. The fact that it's not covered for men is probably because they don't want to do it, and it's one more excuse to not do it. It's one more way to make it, well, it ain't on me, it's on you. You have to do something. I don't. That is pretty much the way the system is designed. It is all put on women to do when it comes to reproduction, not men, and men have zero responsibility unless it's to tell you you have to have the baby, right? We just
Right.
had Oklahoma is passing another ridiculous law where it'll be a felony for anyone to do an abortion. So now, and I was listening to a story on this and it was insane. So the people from Texas, because of their insane laws, have been going to Oklahoma. So now Oklahoma has to pass more insane laws than Texas. Now this is different than what you're talking about. This is what you're talking about, a voluntary, getting your tubes tied um, or a man getting a vasectomy. That's the only reason I can think that it's covered for women and not for men is because some old guys say, no, I got to keep mine working, especially now that there's Viagra, because, she's 19 and she's going to think I'm hot, and she's
Right.
going to want to have plenty of my babies. It is insane. It is discriminatory. It is broken. And unfortunately, with the current political climate, and especially this, it goes back to when America elected Trump instead of Hillary. And I fault the Democratic Party for not pointing out that Supreme Court justices, yeah, you can hate Hillary all you want, but look, we got 3 Supreme Court justices under Trump, each one worse than the next. And they ain't going anywhere for the next 30 years. So unless somehow the court is expanded, we're stuck with this. And as you and every other woman knows, they can't wait to go after Roe v. Wade and anything else having to do with women's reproductive rights. So it is
Yeah.
unfortunate. I know it started out as a joke, but it is unfortunate. It is horrific. I don't know the solution. I don't know how we'll do better. But and again, this is where I celebrated Ketanji Brown Jackson getting on the Supreme Court. At least now we have one more voice that's correct. And to be honest, I hope she takes Clarence Thomas. Listen, I'm gonna tell you white people something. We black people have a way of talking to other black people that you are not privy to. And I hope she takes Clarence out. I said, listen, man, let me holler at you for a minute. If it starts like that, she's about to straighten his ass out. And wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Yeah.
Allison,
Well, yeah, absolutely.
thank you for dropping in. I am sorry for your frustration. It is definitely legit. And look up Liz Winstead. Liz Winstead is a comedian and a writer. She is one of the creators of The Daily Show. And she has an entire, I think it's called the American Abortion Front. I forget what her organization is called. I've done events with her. She has an entire organization devoted to women's reproductive rights and the unfairness involved. And maybe there'll be something there that will interest you, where you can reach out. And please, if you reach out to Liz, tell her you talked to me, because I love that woman, and we chit chat a couple of times a year, and I'm there to help any way I can. Her organization is fantastic. It's WIZZNSTEAD, Liz Winstead. All right.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Soapbox. We're wrapping it up. Thank you all. We will be back next week, same time. Next week, I'll be coming at you from Phoenix, Arizona, where it'll be warmer and dry.